Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is July 1st, 2019. And yes, folks, once again, we are seeing these very intense waves of energy that seem to be coming from the direction of the sun. Now, over the last couple of days, we've been talking about this. I did a live stream about it. I've been posting a lot of information over on our Planet X News Facebook group and the Planet X News Facebook page. I've also been doing a little bit of homework on this subject. You know me, I'm very analytical, and I want to know exactly what is going on. But in order to, come up with some theories and some answers, with situations like this, we kind of have to go back in history. We have to look for the data. And thank God I have saved some of it. I've been making notations down, like I said, in a notebook since 2017. And the situation that we're seeing right now with Earth's magnetic field is a very, very serious issue. And I've touched on this many, many times before. Now, I've been watching this data all day yesterday. I posted a few things on the group page. And listen, folks, if you guys are not, if you're not following and you're not in that Planet X News group, you're really doing yourself an injustice. So the link for the Planet X News group is in the description box, right underneath this video. Take a minute, click on it, and join the group. I'll approve it whenever I'm finished here. And you can share information. I share information. And it's kind of a lot faster than me setting everything up to do a live stream for the boob tube to censor it. Yeah. So anyways, I've been looking back at a lot of my notes and a lot of what has happened over the last couple of years. And, I remember myself, very adamantly saying that, before too long, we are going to have very, very serious situations here on Earth. I mentioned a lot of the things that are currently happening now. And there are some very strange things that are happening. I don't know if any of you guys saw the mess that occurred in Guadalajara in Mexico. I mean, they had like 5 feet of hail. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my entire life. We shared all of the photographs in that group page on Facebook. So anyways, there's a lot of questions surrounding what is happening with our magnetopause, our magnetosphere. The Earth's magnetic field seems to be interacting with something. And we know it's not a solar wind. We solved that in my live stream the other day. I'm going to try to keep this live stream, again, under 2 hours. Hopefully maybe under an hour. But anyways, I've been monitoring this all day yesterday, all day today. I've seen these constant fluctuations and these compressions coming in, but they're not coming from any solar wind. Could we be seeing a solar wind from this Planet X object? I wouldn't consider it a solar wind, but what I would consider it to be is an interaction with this object's magnetosphere, its magnetic field. Why at this time? That's the big question. Why doesn't it affect our magnetosphere all the time, year-round? So, as I go back in time, and I was looking through some of my notes and going through some of the data over the last couple of years, and then all of a sudden something just hit me, and it was the dates. The dates of some of these occurrences. Do they form a pattern? Is there a pattern there? And I did discover a pattern. I actually discovered this yesterday, but I needed to look into it a little bit further. So, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. And it seems like the orbit of the Earth and the orbit of this object in that elliptical orbit around the sun every 28 days. We have the data to prove this. We've shown it already. And during the months of January through June, it seems that we haven't seen too much of this type of interaction with our magnetic field. You know, we see the coronal holes spewing the solar wind, and yes, we see those impacts. But why are we seeing impacts very, very heavy? I mean, these are stronger than coronal hole bursts and solar wind bursts hitting the magnetic field of the Earth. But why now? So as I was going back and back and back, looking at this situation, I saw a pattern starting to develop. As soon as we get near the end of June, everything starts to change. Yeah. July, August, September, October, November. Those seem to be some of the most intense times for the Earth, and going back and retrieving some of this data from the past, the past couple of years. It shows it. But I couldn't figure out why. And then it kind of started coming to me. So half of the year, as the Earth rotates around the sun in its 365-day orbit, which is kind of on a flat plane. But this Planet X object, it's not on a flat plane. It's on a very, very short orbit of 28 days. Very elliptical and eccentric. Could there be points in time during our 365-day journey around the sun that we actually get closer to this object as it's orbiting the sun and we're orbiting the sun? And as we go around, let's just say the back side of the sun from July through December, the front side of the sun from January through June, we'll just label it like that, even though that kind of doesn't exist. But we have to break it down into two planes so you can understand it. So we've completed the front side of the sun orbit now. All of a sudden, over the last couple of days, in the end of June going into July, bingo, now we are on the backside alignment. And what do we see? We see these massive fluctuations, bursts of energy coming from really nowhere, because it's not related to any coronal holes or intense activity from the sun. So it has to be coming from somewhere. No, it's not the 5 waves of energy from Mike from around the world and Pastor Paul. See, this has been happening for at least the last 3 years, possibly even a little bit longer than that, because all of the data shows it. Yeah. Chew on that for a second. I'm going to pull up the live chat. Forgot to do that. I'm going to show you some interesting things. And they don't have anything to do with the 5 waves of energy. Oh, boy. Some of the shit people make up, man, I tell you. And you ever notice that they talk all about these subjects, these stories, but they never show you anything. It's just a voice on the phone on YouTube. Yeah. So anyhow, anyway, let me show you this. I believe you'll find it quite interesting. Let me shrink my face down here so my face is out of the way. Okay, so we know that the magnetosphere and the magnetopause just absolute wreck. It's a complete mess. We have earthquakes popping off left and right. And if you remember in my last live stream the other day, I said, quote, start looking for some bigger earthquakes here in the next couple of days. Within the next 48 to 72 hours. Well, bingo, here we are. But the question is why? Why? Well, check this out. So like I was saying, we've completed Earth's orbit. We'll consider the second half of the orbit from July through December. We'll consider that the backside. If you take a look at the very eccentric and elliptical orbit of Planet X in its 28-day cycle around the sun, and then you throw in Earth's orbit around the backside of the sun, is there a possibility that during our last 6 months orbiting the sun in one calendar year, maybe during the periods from July through November, we have a closer interaction with this object? Because this object's orbit is very, very strange. It's really kind of abnormal to all of the other bodies in our solar system, the way that they orbit. Except for little Mercury over there. Mercury has a pretty good eccentric orbit. Yeah. So as the Earth pulls around the backside of the sun, as we say, through July, August, September, October, November, the data stops right around the middle of November. Why? Well, the Earth is already around 90% of the orbit around the backside, completing one calendar year. So in July, it seems that we start to see this uptick. Yeah. And then in August and September, it really starts to peak. The data shows it. The past data. Then in October through November, we're on a little bit of a decline. Things are still active, moderately active. But anything could happen. And then we hit December. And then we move into a new calendar year. And everything starts all over again. So as we're on the backside through July, August, September, October, we may be coming in contact with the magnetic field of Planet X as it makes its 28-day orbit. So we'll have slight calm periods, and then we'll have a lot of erratic periods, like we're having right now. And like I said, folks, the data pretty well shows all of that. I'm not going to, waste all of your time by, going through all of that. Now, Mark did a really good video over on the Blue Kool-Aid channel. You guys might want to check that out. Hey, even Pastor Paul Bagley picked up his video and was using it. I was quite busy this afternoon. I was watching all of this happen. But I was really busy, and didn't get home till just recently. But I've been watching this. I've been watching it. I've been posting some information on our group page. But let's check this out. Let's extend this out. Let's get this baby moving. Yeah, you're going to see some crazy contortions going on here. And there's no solar wind. We don't have solar wind set to hit the Earth till July 4th. Remember? I went over all that with you guys. July 4th through the 5th. So what's happening here? Could it be the 5 waves of energy? Hell no. This is coming directly from our little buddy out there, because there's no other explanation. And if you think in your mind and you get that picture of what I was just talking to you about, it starts to make a lot of sense, because the data proves it. Not just my thoughts, but the data proves it. Here's something else that was dropped in my lap yesterday. I was blown away by it. I don't know. I accidentally stumbled onto it. And it was quite interesting. And it was some research that was done back in 2011. Well, actually, the research was earlier than that, but this article was written in 2011 in physics.org, respectable website. And I don't know what the hell led me right to this article, but it was talking about molecular clouds, gas clouds, and how gas clouds were discovered by a group of scientists to also contain their own very strong magnetic fields. Yeah. Especially in the development of a young star. But guess what? Wait till you see how they labeled this young star. That's going to crack your mind wide open. And remember, this is coming from 2011, and I'm going to show it to you in a few minutes. So, theoretically, there's a very high possibility that this main object, because it does get very, very close to the sun, they are known to have atmospheres not like ours. Gaseous atmospheres. A gas cloud. Now, we caught that picture, just a month ago. I could pull it up. And that, I'm going to jump out of here for just a second here. I'll pull this picture up so you know what I'm talking about. So these large gas clouds are known to have their own magnetic fields. Woo! Yeah, baby. So whenever we caught this just about a month ago, what do we see there? We see a pretty illuminated object, but remember, this is a camera that's photographing in extreme ultraviolet light. So that doesn't really mean that object's glowing out there in space and you can see it with your Apple cell phone, your iPhone. But we did detect this gas cloud, and that's exactly what that looks like. And if you watch the live stream that I did on this, I showed you how I uncovered this. And that's still pretty spectacular. So if this object has a pretty intense magnetic field and the gas cloud itself that it travels in also has an extremely intense magnetic field. Yes, a gas cloud has a magnetic field of its own. So that's 2 magnetic fields. Add in the sun. Now that makes 3 magnetic fields that would be affecting the Earth as it rotates around the backside, as we call it, in July, August, September, October, and November. The data shows that. The data shows the increase in activity around the world. You think that we have activity from January through June. There's an increase when the Earth starts its second half of its orbit. And I've poured over this, folks. I mean, if I start pulling all this out, we'll be here for 4 hours. Yeah. So, I think that's where we're at. I think we are on the cusp of some more very, very intense times for our planet over the next 4 months, 4 or 5 months. I think the brunt of it will come within the next 4 months. From now, stretching out 4 more months, just like it has for the last several years. Also, some of my biggest captures, the most defined, have been in June, July, August, September, October, and November. Again, I could sit here and pull all the pictures out and show you one by one. Would be here for 4 hours. Yeah. You know, like I said, folks, you have a lot of people out there that talk a big game on the boob tube, but they never show you anything. They don't show you nothing. Maybe some pictures that they took with their cell phone through the trees and a dirty screen door. Here I try to give you facts, scientific data, and a real explanation. As you can see, the current earthquake map, it's getting pretty out of control. We've had a couple hard-hitting earthquakes. This 5.9 in the Philippines, 500, almost 549 kilometers deep. That's deep, really deep. Then we had the at Vanuatu, magnitude 6, 99 kilometers, moderately deep. But then you see the earthquakes are scattered. That one's fresh right there. And then you move over here. United States. Nice little weird earthquake there in Kansas. Oklahoma. Might be due to fracking. Some little activity going on over here at Yellowstone. Yellowstone's always a threat, folks. Always a threat. If anything ever happens there, you know, it's going to be hell on earth. It's going to be hell in this country. I can tell you that much. But the reason why I don't talk too much about it is because it's one of those situations that you don't have any control over. And it would be catastrophic. It would be the same as, a building-size asteroid landing in the middle of the United States. It would be lights out. There's nothing that you can do. So Yellowstone's one of those big factors on this planet. We've seen the increase in the volcanic activity over the last 2 weeks, and today and yesterday. Very, very weird things happening all over the world, man. The lightning, oh my. I've been sharing photographs of lightning from different parts of the world in our Facebook group and sharing as much data as I get coming in. It's just absolutely amazing. Some of it is very, very scary looking. And a lot of it is deadly. People are, I'll be quite frank with you, people are getting killed in many different situations. Floods, lightning strikes. Now all the excessive heat over in Europe. And the folks over in Europe, they're not used to 110, 105 degree fever, temperatures. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But this is where we're at right now. I mean, you can see the earthquake splattered all over the place. That's not going to stop. We'll probably see an uptick in this earthquake activity from this point. We could have some very, very non-stop seismic activity from this point all the way through to November. Yeah, Dutch Sense is going to be busy. So am I. But I think where this seismic activity is going to increase. I think we're going to see the increase in the volcanic activity very, very soon. We're also going to see more intense storms. I think we're also going to start to see things kicking off with some cyclones, typhoons, hurricanes very soon. One is forming over in the Pacific. Right around down in this area here. They are saying that it will reach hurricane status. Remember last year? Very, very odd. We had numerous hurricanes forming out in the South Pacific and moving out in this direction. But here's the bad part. Now, the jet stream's kind of in a good position for us right now, but that can change instantly. If that would change instantly and these hurricanes form in the lower Pacific right here where my cursor is, and we get a trough that dips down and moves upward like this, like it was just a month and a half ago, which created all the devastation in the central part of the United States. If that occurs, then we got a whole different ball game, because those big troughs are going to suck that hurricane right into Mexico and possibly into the Gulf. You could possibly see a hurricane with 2 or 3 landfalls. Or it creates massive storms that will be pulled directly up into Mexico, up into Texas, up into Oklahoma, and just right up into the central part of the United States again. We got serious issues brewing, with the growing season. I think the growing season is trashed. Food prices will probably go up by the end of the summer, if not maybe September, October. Who knows? We'll see. We will see. Looks like they have an update now. But that's a lot going on there, folks. A 5.9, a 6, all of these other 4.3, 5s, 4.8, 4.4, 4.1, 4.4, and then look at the barrage going on down in California, straight down the San Andreas Fault. Sooner or later, the Pacific Plate that moves underneath the North American Plate, listen, that thing's going to go boing, and we're going to have some very serious devastation, probably from San Diego to Seattle. you may see pieces of California zip right into the ocean. It's all possible. People have been talking about it for decades. We're still waiting for it to happen. But guess what? We now have some other influences out there that may make it happen. We're already seeing record landslides and earth fissures around the world. I have 95 rock slides and mudslides going on in my neck of the woods in the Pittsburgh area. Oh, that's right. I said 95 in 4 counties. And they're not little mudslides. They're bad. Road closures. You know, it's a wonder no one's been killed yet. But that's just not happening here. That's happening all over the place. And the floods, they're continuing. The downpours of rain are insane. Why? Well, we have serious issues with our jet stream. Our atmosphere is superheated. Just look at the lightning, man. It's like being on another planet. But you'll see, the skies are going to start changing very, very ominous looking bright colors in the morning and in the evening as the sun goes down. You're going to see some really, really kooky looking skies. Take pictures of them. Post them on the group page. Why? Because it's data that we could see from around the world, from around the United States. You know, that's a good time to use your cell phone cameras, because that just goes to show you that during this time frame, this last 6 months around the backside of the sun, as we say, this is when we see all of this. Yeah, now let me show you that article that I was talking about, which mentions the stellar molecular clouds. Yeah, but watch for the key word. So let's get out of the earthquake map here. We'll pull this up. And again, well, I'll tell you what, let me... we'll do that. So those letters are real big and bold right on your screen. So this was on March 25th, 2011. This was an article written. It was called Magnetic Fields in Interstellar Clouds by Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Some pretty smart people, I hope. Now, I'm not going to bore you in all of this, but what they're talking about is how some of these scientists, they were in this study. They were studying magnetic fields, and then they kind of like stumbled on to finding out that these molecular clouds or interstellar clouds had magnetic fields of their own. Yeah. And this was in relation to young stars that were forming. So, you know, I'll leave the link to this in the live chat. You guys can check it out. I will also put it in the comment section, and I'll pin it to the top in the comment section. You guys could go check it out, read it for yourself. And it notes the names of all of the scientists and astronomers that participated in exactly what they did. And they were down there at the big Chilean mountaintop observatory and da-da-da-da-da. Then it gets in here, it says the CFA receiver lab telescope observed the emissions from warm carbon monoxide gas with a velocity resolution able to categorize turbulent motions in the gas. So they were already starting to see and monitor these gas clouds, and then they started to see that these gas clouds had strong magnetic fields, very strong. And listen, folks, these gas clouds are just like something that you can't even fathom. You know, I'm not talking like in a reference to you look up in the sky and it's a little white cloud. No, these are gas clouds that are like the size of our solar system. They could be smaller. They could be even bigger than that. It can take 1,000 years to travel through one of these gas clouds. But they're talking about a gas cloud formation around a young, let's go back up here. Where is it? Boom. There we go. So here's the key right here. And it was towards the end of this article. And it says, the scientists found evidence of magnetic fields in the molecular cloud around a young stellar core. Right there. What you got to say about that? Huh, Willis? So, in 2017, the first time I ever heard anybody use that term, stellar core, was Dr. Elbers. Because we really couldn't define what this object is, whether it was a brown dwarf, a red dwarf, a planet, rocky planet type object. What was it? But it was showing characteristics of being what she referred to as a stellar core. Wow. So in 2011, whenever this article was written about these scientists and their findings, they used that term. They also were talking about this young stellar core having a very strong magnetic gas cloud around it. What's the sun made up of? All gas, baby. All gas. So, once again, the scientists found evidence of magnetic fields in the molecular cloud around a young stellar core by examining the distribution of velocities of the gas. Magnetic fields should constrain gas motions, and the team was able to measure the extent of the influence as they probed the region around the core. Woo! Yeah. I wonder what core or stellar core that they got this data from. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. They published this paper. They published all of this data from this study. Hey, troll babies, why don't you stick that in your troll pipe and choke on it? Yeah, you know, it's pretty tough in the truth community, folks. Everybody wants to call you a liar. Everybody wants to cut your throat. Everybody wants to come at you. But here's the thing. You know, it's one thing if you are putting out the truth. You're doing your homework. You're showing evidence. And then there's the people that just go out there and just shoot their mouth off and cloud your mind, which makes it harder for you to understand what is actually happening. Maybe that is part of the psychological program for disinformation agents in the form of whoever. I had some crazy buffoon lady just come out of nowhere and start attacking me yesterday. She was a Facebook friend of mine for, I don't know, over a year. And she didn't like the idea that I said those FAA cameras and those YouTube channels that put out those spinning red globes going across the sky, which are nothing more than internal reflections of the camera's aperture, are nothing more than a fake. There's no demons in the clouds that I can see. There might be some UFOs up there, as we've seen. But you know, folks, all in all, we've got some very, very serious issues that need our attention. And interdimensional beings riding around on their clown carts in the clouds. Look, I don't know about you, but I need to center my attention on what's happening to this planet and my survival, my family's survival. Everything that's happening right now, it just seems to be more intense than it was last year and the year before. We're seeing the data. It's all there. And the timelines and the time frames are all starting to match up. I knew many years ago that I wouldn't have all of the answers because you need things to happen. You need that data. You need all of those things to occur throughout a period of years so you can kind of put things together. I think that's where we're getting to now. So I thought that was very, very interesting to find that key word in this article, and also referring to a young stellar core and the gas cloud, and the gas cloud having its own magnetic field. So if the Earth is traveling around the backside, as we say, the last 6 months of the year, now we are experiencing the influence of not one, not two, but three magnetic fields. Yeah. What do you think about that? Oh, I know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, I know. I'm wrong. Well, I'll tell you what. If you think I'm wrong, show me. If you have better answers, tell me. Other than that, I think this is where we're at. So, once again, we are going to watch this very, very carefully each and every day. It would be nice to get some help from all of you guys. If you're learning to use these tools and you have some time periodically to check some of the data out, you can share it on the Facebook group page. The link's in the description box. And maybe together, like as a huge team, we could start putting this together. Maybe because I have the biggest mouth out of all of us, maybe not, I can put these things into a video and I could present them for everybody else. So, this isn't the Scott Sion show. This is a show, this is a production for everybody. Everybody to get the information that they may be seeking. But I think what's more important is the knowledge. Knowledge is power, man. There's no doubt about it. But anyways, folks, listen. Mark did a fantastic video over on his YouTube channel. You guys should definitely check that out. He took a lot more time than I did with you to show you all of these compressions and what's happening. We're going to continue to see these effects. One big question, could this cause a complete magnetic reversal? Yeah, it definitely could. It wouldn't be something that would be permanent. You wouldn't even know it. The Earth would know it. And then the Earth will show it in the forms of catastrophic earthquakes and volcanoes, and you may see more and more and more of these huge fissures opening up like we've been seeing for the last several years. You'll also definitely see some really intense weather. A lot of that will be lightning related, very, very heavy downpours. You may even continue to see astronomical heat waves, but in different sections of the world. Not the whole globe, but you may see these heat waves in very unusual places, like you're seeing now over in the Western European countries. So keep your eyes and your ears open, folks. And if you want to share the data, get over there on our group Facebook page. Click the little join button. I'll approve you. Be nice to everybody. You know, don't call people names and be belligerent. And listen, do me a favor. Don't post any troll videos. And don't post any videos from WSO, because I will kick your ass out of the group and delete that bullshit. Yeah. We're going to be examining some more on UFOs also. So we're gathering a bunch of information. We're a bunch of conspiracy theorists. But in all actuality, we're conspiracy realists. We're searching for the truth. We want some answers. We have every right to the answers. So join us, and we'll see if we can crack this case wide open. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. You guys be safe out there. And if I don't talk to any of you, have a great and safe 4th of July. But you'll probably hear from me before then. Take care, folks.